Hi, Kicks Vision. I'm Ross Klein, Senior Creative Director of NikeBasketball. In a loose way, yes. We pulled probably the greatest people that were part of that era together to identify what Alpha was back then, how we came up with solutions then. So there is a loose connection behind the meanings of why this project has probably executed the way it has, because we've figured and went through the fundamentals of what Alpha projects are about. And just to be clear, like the Alpha project is, it's not a singular product, it's really a way of thinking. The way of thinking is you ask athletes what they're looking for, what they need. You also find insight and you find new things to uncover. That's what Alpha's about, is coming through with a solution based upon looking. Yeah, it's a great question. Let's go back in time, almost to your first question. When Alpha projects came out, they were surprises. People had no idea when they came, why they looked the way that they did. They were just surprised. And I would say that created an engagement because they had a personality to them. Outside of what is great with our signature athletes, that's what's happening back with the Alphas. Is there are moments to talk to athletes about what they need at the highest level. If an athlete says, I want to jump my highest, or I want to do something that I've never done before. Yeah, I've been lucky to be part of a majority of those projects with many other teammates. And Back to the Future is in some way an augmented reality. It's to provide something very futuristic thinking and to give people a look at what's happening in the future. So I would say, when we hold up a shoe like this and we reference the hoverboard, the hoverboard was to generate you vertically, lift you up. And so there's a reference to that, obviously what's happening with the technology. But we think that movie was the spawn and creation to create sort of an unlimited potential of belief. And that's where we took it. Yeah, I would say I can't offer too much information about that, but I can tell you that the library of Bounce is very close to what that means. I mean, we have an unbelievable library of information. We have instances where Vince Carter, did what we called the dunk of death. We've had instances with Anthony Hardaway and Aaron, which was about providing something we've never seen before, what we call pure magic. So the library of Bounce for this was kind of to talk about those events that happen with a shoe that actually will get you to make that feeling of jumping with bounce.
Got it. So are we going to expect more library of bouncers?
So I can't say too much. Well, this was talking about basically the honesty and the journey that we went through, right? As a team, we went deep into the archives and really uncovered a lot of these meanings. All of this shoe applies to those meanings, but the other side of the shoe, which is here, with all of these details located on here. This is to talk about the honesty about what's happening in the bag. So for instance, AV, if you see this on here, is air volume. The air volume specifically is about 9 times larger than anything we've put into the forefoot before. BV is bag volume. So what we're doing is we're telling consumers and athletes exactly what we're giving them, how much we're giving them, and how different it is than the prior shoes that we've done.
Okay, so it's like the label of the technology we're using here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, China from their transit, economically, the way that they think in terms of future technology is what drew us a lot to think about the shoes kind of in specific elements. The team created a lot of iconography that just talked about speed. And if you look at it, it's kind of a maze, right? Because there's so much happening in China. It's kind of like a bustling environment.
True.
So this maze is kind of relative to the way that the culture is, right? A lot of movement, a lot of future, and driven upon really kind of depth and finishing. The swoosh is the same way. Ton of movement involved in it as well. And the red and yellow is just kind of it's a heritage of China. And so we really wanted to pay homage in creating a colorway that was really speaking about the culture.
That's pretty nice.
And then of course, the giant technology is the thing that really kind of stands out. So yeah, very special colorway.
Thanks.
Yeah, Zoom Rise is it's a shoe position for all athletes.
Okay.
And big spread into team sport. So I would say they are cousins in a way. They're learning off of each other. And in fact, similar things, performance-wise, stability, compression, and then mobility and compression here. If you saw the Zoom Rise, the bag is shifted out here, same thing. So this just gives you the maximum amount of the technology that we've ever done. Yeah, the AlphaDunk is really in none of those arenas. You know, if we look at the Adapt, that was about fit, right? A future of fit. If we look at the HyperDunk 17, that was about React and bringing React into basketball and giving that that benefit to consumers that way. If we look at Giannis with the double stack zoom unit in the heel and it being low and light, it's a different type of athlete. So all of these things service very different types of athletes that are looking for different performance as well as different perception. This one is a very unique thing that is not unlike any one of those. There was, this material was honestly over 2 years in the making because what we wanted to do was create conformity on the bottom. So conformity and movement. Inside we wanted to create strength when you pulled and laced it. And then on the top we wanted to make abrasion resistance for people who play outdoors and who also look at shoes in terms of being stepped on. So this image right here is what is happening inside of the knit. So why we see, if I were to pick this up, why you see the blue shift right there is that. The air knit philosophy, which is part of the Fly Knit umbrella, is to kind of compile different layers now versus one material at the top and that's it. This is now layered knitting so that we can provide all three of these benefits in one package.
Got you.
If we take a look at KD, that has an 8mm zoom strobel unit right underneath the foot. Feels fantastic. This is 15mm, double that. As well, the difference between the two is that this will run all the way to the tip of the toe. All the way to the tip. So anybody in jumping is going to use all of that motion all the way to the tip. And so they're focused on two different ways of thinking. One which was low stack underfoot responsiveness and cushioning against the foot. This one focusing on jump.
Damn it, I'm fucked up.